All right, welcome back to another one of our film reviews. Today we are talking Las Vegas Raiders rookie offensive tackle Charles Grant. Grant has very quickly emerged as a high-quality pass-protecting tackle and a versatile player in his own right. We'll break down everything he did so well in the Raiders' last preseason game and why his future looks really good in Las Vegas. As always, in the comments section below, give us any feedback you might have, plus if there's any other players you want us to break down. But without further ado, let's jump right into the film. All right, let's open up with a little play action pass, and there's Charles Grant right there, lined up at left tackle for the Raiders. Like I said, they're going to play fake inside to the running back, which means up front, you're trying to sell zone. You're trying to fire out like it's a zone block here to get these linebackers to bite, so that way the quarterback there can find an open seam either down the sideline or behind the linebackers, which makes it a little harder in pass pro. So you need to sell run, get out there as if you're going to run block, and then settle into a pass protection stance. Grant does a phenomenal job of it right here. Again, the two-parters, sell the run and then great pass protection. Let's check it out. All right, there's a snap. You can see a little play fake right there. Let's look at Grant right here. Watch him. He goes out there like it's a zone play, then engages. Normally, you'd want like a kick slide, right? You normally see, like you see right here on the right tackle. This is not selling the run right here. No linebacker or safety is going to see this right tackle and say, oh, it's a play action. That's a poor job right here. You need to sell the run. Inside, we're selling the run. That's pretty good. Grant right here doing a good job. And then he gets into pass protection right there, gets his weight back, handles the spin. Great pass protection. It's one of these things where I understand the temptation because you're going up against edge rushers. You want to make sure you don't get your quarterback killed. And I guess it's better safe than sorry. But you got to give your offense a chance to execute. You have to sell the run. The right tackle did not. Charles Grant over here did. Again, engages the defensive end right there. He's not in a good pass protection stance. Again, he's trying to make sure it's a zone play, or at least make it look like a zone play. Then he reacts, runs him upfield, keeps moving his feet. I love the way he uses his feet and hands together, right? See how he puts his hand on his hip and keeps pattering around and then shoves them? He's not a big grabber. Some guys are big grab and torque guys. He uses hands to almost guide the defender where he wants to go and then gives him a shove for good measure at the end. Nice rep. All right, let's take a look at it from the wide copy. Watch Grant sell the zone right there and then move his feet. Really good pass protection. I'm a big believer in moving your feet in pass pro, keeping yourself between the edge rusher, the pass rusher in general, and the quarterback, and that's exactly what Grant does here. Moving his feet, using his hands when necessary. You don't want to get too grabby because obviously you'll draw holding penalties, and every once in a while you'll miss with your hands. If you rely too much on your hands, like right there, if Grant just tries to use his hands to yank him or torque him, he could draw a penalty or this defensive end could rip through his arms. Instead, he moves his feet, shuffles his feet like you see right there, gives his quarterback a nice clean pocket to deliver the ball to the check down for his nice successful play. All right, now we're going to show off Grant's intelligence, and you can see him right there, of course, at left tackle for the Las Vegas Raiders. So you're going to see that the 49ers, they got a lot of bodies over here. Who's coming, who's not. It's going to be a complicated situation. But Grant, from the rip, recognizes what's going to happen. He knows 65 is going to stunt around this way, and this defensive end is going to come inside. He sees that coming a mile away. As he gets into a kick step, remember, they're not selling the run here, this traditional pass pro. His eyes are going to be on this defensive tackle the entire way. Only at the last second does he go to the defensive end just to make sure he's not an outside rusher, and then he turns out to be right as the defensive tackle comes right to him. This is one of the crazier plays, one of the savvier plays I've seen from any rookie this preseason. Let's check it out. All right, there's a snap. You can see Grant. He's got his eyes at 65. Look at him the entire way. He's got a defensive end right across from him, and he doesn't look at him until the last second. He's like, I know 65's coming. I know. I've seen the film. I know what's coming here. Only at the last second does he turn his head, but then he still picks up 65 because he's proven right. He knows this stunt is coming. He's seen this 1,000 times on film. Look, he played D1 AA, FCS football, right? So it's not like he got, 2,000 reps at Texas or something like that running a pro-style offense. Not that William & Mary isn't a good school for football. It certainly is for its level, but it's a different world, obviously than like the SEC or the Big Ten. But here he's so smart, so savvy. He knows it's coming. I love this. Right at the snap, he's like, I know you're coming, bro. I know you're coming right to me. You can fake it all you want. I know you're coming. All right, I guess I got to look outside, but here you come, and now I got you. Really savvy play from Charles Grant. All right, for the wide copy, you can see right there, he's got his eyes inside the entire time. He knows he's going to get the outside rusher, but he knows 65 is going to be the outside rusher. Only at the last second does he switch to the outside just to make sure he wasn't wrong. Turns out he was right the entire way. Again, really smart, really savvy, high football IQ player here in Charles Grant. All right, going with the running play now, and there's Grant, of course, at left tackle for the Raiders. The Raiders didn't throw the football a lot with Charles Grant. I think they wanted to see Aiden O'Connell in this passing game work with the second group, but they did run the football here, and they're going to run a zone concept here to the left side of your screen, the offensive right. So we're going to get zone double team right here, working up to the next level. Zone double team right here. We're going to get zone double team right there, trying to work up to the next level. That means Grant right here, he's by himself essentially to cut off this defensive lineman right here. This, we'll call it a wide 3 technique. Maybe let me clean up the screen for you guys. We'll call it a wide 3 technique on the outside shoulder of the guard, or a really wide 4-eye technique on the outside shoulder of the tackle, or inside eye of the tackle there, excuse me. Either way, whatever you want to call him technique-wise, Grant's got to cut him off. This is a really tough block, and Charles Grant does a great job. Let's check it out. All right, there's a snap. We can see the zone tracks across the board. We can see the zone double team right here. 56 comes across. Not a great job by the right guard. Little zone double team right here. Center trying to work up to the next level. Does what he can. That's really good effort by 67. I'll give credit where credit is due. Let's look at Grant on the backside here. Gets his foot in the ground. Great athlete. Completely cuts him off by himself. This is awesome. I can't tell you how hard this is. Now, Grant makes it look easy here, but you talk about being a great athlete, getting his feet in the ground. Did he actually get him moving a beat early? Let's see. No, he just timed it perfectly because he knew he had to be on his horse, and he gets it done. He gets this guy completely reached. This is absolutely bonkers stuff, right? Compare his reach block here with this reach block here. You see how 56 beats across his face and is part of the tackle, or almost part of the tackle there? That's what normally happens on these kind of blocks. Instead, Grant gets him completely cut off right there, completely pinned inside, and stays with him up the field too. This is awesome. I almost have never seen a backside cutoff block, a scoop block like this. Great job here by number 60. All right, from the wide copy at the top of your screen, watch Grant get horizontal down the line of scrimmage and then vertical to cut off this defensive lineman in fast order. Look at this. Bang. Cut off. Right there, that's winning. And then he stays on him, running him up the field. I mean, this is crazy good stuff. If they would have blocked this better on the play side, right? Let's say they get up to, or let's say they get this nose guard cut off. I think that's the guy who ends up making the tackle right there. If they get this nose guard cut off, he's one-on-one on a safety for a potentially much larger run, maybe even a touchdown, because Grant has the entire backside of the defense, right? The backside defensive end's caught in Grant's trash right there, too, with the work he's doing. This is so good. I guarantee you if Grant sees the field, and if he's able to do this against the starters in regular season action, we're going to see a lot of cutback runs that are going to go for big gains with guys like Ashton Ginty because of getting scoop blocks on the backside like this. I mean, this is scary good stuff here from the rookie. All right, going with another play action concept. We're going to fake the run in this direction, and the quarterback's going to settle in the middle of the pocket. Grant's going to try and sell zone right here and then get into pass protection. Kind of an interesting situation here. So it's still a stunt here. Even though it's a play action inside a fake run, this defensive line right here, 55, and the defensive end right here for the 49ers, I can't quite see his jersey number. He's still going to stunt inside just like this, and 55 is going to loop around. Grant right here does a really good job. Again, he sells the run, gets a little bit over his skis. This guy gets inside, but then he auto-corrects, hands him off, and then picks up 55 looping around. Great job again from Charles Grant. Really savvy football player and phenomenal footwork. Let's check it out. All right, there's a snap. You can see Grant trying to sell zone right there. You see 67 slants inside and 55 loops around. They're trying to run a stunt here in this situation, even though the Raiders are trying to sell run. Grant, again, savvy football player, hands off 67 inside, then circles back around and picks up number 55. Is this perfect? No, you wouldn't like to be beat inside like that quickly. Again, he's trying to sell inside zone, so that's why he's so aggressive out there. This isn't a bad pass set. You can see the play fake right there with the running back. They're trying to sell that zone concept. And you can see right here, when you got a slanting defensive line and you're trying to play action, it can cause a lot of chaos. But Grant, again, savvy player, smart player, feels the defensive lineman slant inside, and right here he knows, okay, if this guy went inside, 55 is coming around, he waits for him, picks him up, smart rep. All right, from the wide copy, you can see Grant. He's going to fire off and try and sell this zone play right here. Gets beat inside quickly, but then pushes him into his help, and then knows that defensive lineman 55 is coming around, defensive tackle, and picks him up. Again, he's so smart. He's so savvy. He's a rookie. He's played a couple preseason games, and he's making really smart, savvy plays like this. High football IQ. I'm going to run out of superlatives for Charles Grant. Again, this is a guy who, coming in, we preached about his versatility and his production at the FCS level. The question is, what would it translate to at the NFL level? But what we're seeing already from Grant with great footwork, which is a good sign, but his high football IQ, I mean, it's off the charts kind of stuff. All right, let's go some one-on-one traditional pass pro, and there's Charles Grant right there at left tackle, of course. So you can see the 49ers have 1, 2, 3 defensive linemen on this side of the Raiders offense. How this generally works is this defensive tackle is going to slant this way to try and pull the center, so that way we get true one-on-ones here on the backside, one-on-one there and one-on-one there, to create opportunities for these two defensive linemen here to get a lot of space to go after the quarterback. But Charles Grant, one-on-one right here at left tackle on this defensive end. You talk about locking it down and winning and giving your quarterback all the time in the world. This was a great rep here from the young tackle. Let's check it out. All right, there's a snap. We can see that defensive lineman goes to the right, pulls the center away. Now all this green grass, right? One-on-one opportunity, 76 and 60. Look at Charles Grant. You can see he goes in for a punch right there. This defensive lineman is trying to knock his hands down, but Grant stays with it with his feet. Look at that. The entire time here, this defensive end has Grant's hands. Most of the time, that means as an offensive lineman, you're dead. But Grant just keeps moving his feet, keeps shuffling his feet, stays in front of him. Great protection. I tell you what, Grant is the personification of my personal belief that great footwork is all you really need to be a great offensive lineman. Of course, size, strength, all that kind of stuff. But the most important trait is great footwork, and Grant has it. Again, he just moves his feet constantly, never stops pounding his feet, shuffling back, shuffling forward. Even though his hands are grabbed, even though this defensive lineman is trying to run all over the place, he is locking him down. Really nice rep here from Charles Grant. Again, kick slide is pretty good. Is a little late with the punch, but he just keeps moving his feet and keeping his body in a great spot. Nice rep from number 60. All right, from the wide copy, you can see Grant at the bottom of your screen right there. You can see that defensive tackle goes away, which means we get one-on-one right here. Again, kick slide's a little bit aggressive and misses with the hands a little bit, but still, he moves his feet. Look how he stays with them. Again, pound his feet inside. Look where his guy is compared to the other pass rushers, right? This is the guy Grant is blocking. Where is he? Right around the 50, about 5 yards away from the quarterback. Where's everyone else? Right around the quarterback, right here. At least two of the guys here. Two of the guys are for the 49ers. You can see this one guy, he kind of gets run around the corner there, so I won't blame the offensive line for that one. But Grant is just dominating, right? He is locking down this defensive end right here. Nice rep from the rookie. All right, now let's hear from the sponsor of today's video.
Look at these results. People are making thousands every month betting on sports completely risk-free. The secret? They're using OddsJam. OddsJam isn't just another betting app. It's turning the entire system in your favor. Here's how. OddsJam uses a strategy called arbitrage, finding odds discrepancies across the sports books. You bet both sides, and no matter the outcome, you will profit. Here's an example. If you bet $500 on Boise State to win on FanDuel and $335 on their opponent, San Francisco, on DraftKings, you're guaranteed to make $50 win or lose. With the OddsJam mobile app, you get real-time alerts on these opportunities every day. People are making thousands of dollars every month, and to get you started, use code SMI for 35% off and a free 7-day trial. I guarantee you'll profit during the trial, and if you don't, cancel with one click, no questions asked. Don't leave money on the table. Go to oddsjam.com, use code SMI, and start making money the smart way.
All right, next play, sticking with the pass protection. Very similar kind of look here for the opposition, the 49ers. We've got 1, 2, 3 defenders on the offensive line's left, just like this. This defensive tackle, number 95, he's going to slant this way to pull the center away. So we get 2-on-2 right here again. We get 1-on-1 here and 1-on-1 here. And sometimes in these situations, they like to run a stunt. They have this defensive end fire upfield, then lap around, and then this defensive tackle fire this direction, and then pick the offensive tackle, and then try and get to the quarterback just like that. Here's a situation where Grant recognizes that's a possibility, but his footwork is just so good. He protects against the initial rush and then pounds his feet inside, protecting both his buddy and eliminating the stunt at the same time. Phenomenal job. Let's check it out. All right, there's a snap. You can see Grant gets into his pass pro right there. See how he sticks his hand up right there to try and help? I wonder if he feels the stunt's going to come anyway. But again, good job right there. Gets into this defensive lineman. Better job with his hands. He loses his lead foot right there a little bit. That's not ideal. But he quickly corrects and gets right into his help and creates good protection right there. I think this is a stunt. I think this defensive tackle is late to react before going to his left right there. But Grant, again, just does such a good job with his spatial awareness and moving his feet. By slamming into this defensive tackle, he basically blocks both of these guys. It's good, solid, fundamental football, right? Is it beautiful, perfect technique? Is it clinic tape kind of footwork in terms of kick sliding and pounding your inside foot? No, but in terms of getting it done and executing and picking up the pass rush, giving your quarterback time to deliver a strike for a big completion, this is what you're talking about, right? And this is all you really need. The NFL is about getting the job done. It's not about looking pretty. It's about winning. And that's what we're seeing from the Raiders this offseason. That's become their new goal. And Charles Grant, what he does in pass protection, is a perfect example of that. All right, from the wide copy, you can see Grant at the bottom of your screen there. He gets into 55 or 96, excuse me. He sees 96 loop around, goes back inside and picks up the defensive tackle. But just by closing that gap right here, it basically eliminates the stunt. It becomes a mass of humanity, allows the quarterback to step into the throw. Nice completion, first down. All right, let's end on one-on-one pass protection from Charles Grant. Of course, there he is at left tackle. We got a wide 9 technique. We'll call him a wide 9 because he's lined up so wide right here. Makes sense, which means he's got a lot of green grass to attack right here to try and get to the quarterback. Great speed to power opportunity for young defensive linemen. But Grant here, again, does a good job settling in. He's got a great anchor. His hand placement, the hand fighting isn't perfect. But once again, guys, he just gets the job done at a high level. Quarterback has time to make the read and make the throw. Let's check it out. Right, there's a snap. You can see this wide 9 technique threatens upfield. Grant, again, he's a little horizontal with his kick step right there in terms of his pass protection. I don't know if they coach that, or I don't know if that's what he prefers. Some teams like to go more vertical. It looks like the Raiders, or at least Grant, likes to go a little bit more horizontal. But right here, he makes it work. Defensive end goes into him. Again, defensive end knocks his hands away, but he replaces and gets his anchor and runs him past the quarterback. Again, is it perfect? Absolutely not, right? A lot of things to clean up. Of course, there would be for any rookie. But he blows this guy past the quarterback completely, runs him around the horn, stays on him the entire way. Quarterback could have stepped up if he wanted to. We'll see it from the wide copy in just a second. Again, this is getting it done, right? When they have this wide of a 9 technique, it is a long way to get to the quarterback here. You're expecting as a defensive end that because you have so much green grass that you'll be able to blow by this guy or blow through him very, very quickly. But Grant doesn't allow that. Makes it slow down, methodical, and then forces defensive end around the hump. Great rep here from number 60. All right, from the wide copy, watch Grant here at the bottom, engages with his defensive end, runs him right around the quarterback, stays on him. Quarterback can make the throw for a nice completion. Let's look where we started. 45. Where does he run around the defensive end? Right around the 46-yard line, 47, 46, so 8 to 9 yards back. That'll get it done, guys. Again, you're not looking for perfection. It's not going to happen. It's hard to play tackle in National Football League. These are good pass rushers. It's about making these defensive ends work. It's about making their lives a lot harder. So you can see this left guard's a great example. See how he gets beat inside right there? That's not making it hard. That's making it easy for the defensive line. You want them to work. You want them to fight through you. You want to run them around the horn, and you want to stay on them the entire time, the entire play, moving your feet. Great work once again. Again, nothing pretty. It's not like Deion Sanders' backpedal or anything like that, but really solid job using his feet, putting his body in a good position. Quarterback could have stepped up, again, if that defensive tackle wasn't right there, if he wanted to. Really nice play from Charles Grant. He has a very bright future in this Raiders offense. I think left tackle, right tackle, regardless, he'll be a really nice piece for many years to come in Las Vegas.